Would you like to be somebody who understands why self-development is so difficult to monetize and earn a lot of money with? Then listen to this entire video where I go through several reasons why the value creation of self-development makes it difficult to monetize. Before we get into it, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. Let's get into it. So I assume most of you are familiar with the self-development, self-help industry. It is an industry based on the narrative of humans improving themselves and suppliers supplying advice in many different forms to humans in how they can improve themselves. Whether it's personality development, career development, skill development, it's a large bandwidth. Now, in society, I believe you get rewarded with the value that you deliver to the society. Like financially, for example, you get rewarded. In return, you get financial reimbursement. For example, let's say you build cars to drive around, and the cars have some value to people because it gets them from location A to location B, and they can transport things in their cars. That's valuable to them. Hence, you create value for them, which they are happy to reward you with, and hence they pay you in return. And that is your income. Let's say you build the car, give it to them, the car brings value to them, hence they give you money in return for it. Now, when it comes to self-development, being reimbursed for the adequate value that you bring to people's lives is it's more difficult to sort of conceptualize and tangibly sort of locate what the value is. So people will be less willing to pay a lot of money for it because it's difficult to the value of self-development is difficult to tangibly conceptualize or make observable, let's say. And the reason why the car buyer originally is so willing to pay you in return for the car you made is because the value that the car brings to their life is salient, it is obvious. They can see the car, they can touch it, they can drive it, and they immediately see what value it brings to them by taking the car for a spin, for example. They do not have to wait to see the value, so their brain is easily convinced that you as the car producer as a car producer have delivered value to them which they should pay for. It is obvious to them, hence they are willing to pay for it. The issue with self-development is that the value that is created is usually created and comes to fruition over long periods of time in the long term. When you decide to become more confident, for example, you won't be more assertive when you wake up the next morning. It doesn't happen overnight. You will need to get out of your comfort zone repeatedly, which obviously takes a lot of time. And the effects of seeking discomfort will need to be absorbed also, which also takes time in order to internalize them properly and actually make yourself fundamentally more confident. And the confidence you grow will increase in size gradually. It will be difficult to quantify how much you grew in the long term. Also, because humans are forgetful and their ability to remember how they felt in the past and what was going on in their head is quite limited. So you'll be able to remember some things of how you felt 5 years ago or what you were experiencing, but in a limited manner. So let's say you started a self-development journey now, and then in 5 years, you would have grown a lot, but you look back and it's difficult to remember, like, oh, I was so insecure about myself, I was so unskilled, etc., etc., and now I'm so confident, I feel great in my own skin, I'm an expert in this field that I'm passionate about. And it's difficult to really feel how horrible the insecurity used to feel and how it absorbed you and how valuable it is that you are no longer like that. That's difficult to sort of to comprehend. As a self-development coach, you would be able to demand a lot of money from your clients if you could quantify and compare someone's life before and after you coach them. You would need to tangibly summarize how their life has changed and make the results as practical as possible. And that's difficult because the results are mainly psychological and therefore difficult to tangibly quantify. However, it does come to my mind when I'm talking about this that you could just measure the outcomes, like of how many new people an insecure person went up to and had the confidence to just talk to, etc., and compare those results to how many people they used to talk to versus how many people they talk to today. And that could be maybe convincing, but it's not, maybe it could work, but it's still tricky, I would say. And the source of character growth is difficult to locate because the source occurred a while ago and so many other variables have come into the mix when that happened or after that happened. When you started your developing your personality, something special occurs. The work on yourself starts to set off a sort of chain reaction in multiple domains of your life. You start by meditating, which you do successfully. Then you get better grades because now you can focus better. You start a disciplined, structured routine every day. You take cold showers. You eat healthier. You get more confidence somehow, and you get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and then you catch yourself and you're like, wait, hold on, what happened here? It's the compound effect. You started with one small habit, and that small habit created results in the long term, which accumulated and compounded and hence grew over time. And you started new routines, new habits, you became more disciplined, more confident, and it just started growing and growing and growing. But wait, hold on. Are you sure it was the meditation in the beginning that started your journey? It could have been something else. Maybe it was the cold showers that were really the cornerstone of your growth. And there are so many other variables that get caught in the mix in this development journey. Maybe it wasn't your coach that got you so far, but actually yourself. Perhaps your coach told you to start meditating in the beginning, which you did, but really it wasn't his or her advice that changed your life. It was actually something you did after that, like doing push-ups every morning, that really changed your life. So was it really the coach's input that brought so much value to you, or was it just your own work? Should I really pay my coach a lot? It's not obvious, it's not clear. And remember, we are talking about people who are careful with their money, like the average person, I would say. People are not willing to throw their money at you easily. You really, really have to convince that they are delivering value. If they are skeptical, they won't pay you probably, or they will pay you less because the probability of what you're delivering them seems risky as to whether it will help them or not, whether it will really deliver the value you promised. Hence, they adjust the amount they offer you and probably want to pay less. Self-development providers need to essentially innovate and come up with new ways to monetizing their services and products, which they really have done. But I have a big concern here because you would need to adapt the product or your service so much to be designed to actually extract money from your clients and potentially not actually change their life in the end. These products would really be inefficient perhaps, like some books or maybe short-term seminars. I think, if you go to a Tony Robbins seminar for a few days or seminars, like his Date with Destiny, like his Netflix show, movie or documentary, you go there for 7 days or for a week, 5 days, and you feel super inspired. You're surrounded by all these encouraging, vibrant people, but then you go home and you slowly decline back into your old habits, and it doesn't really change your life as you would have hoped it to. But you paid like $2,000 for it, 2,000 euros, and it cost a fair amount, but did it really deliver the value? Because humans learn best over long terms. You need to really integrate what you're learning. Just doing it in a quick, short-term seminar with a quick fix, of inspiration really won't cut it. I think it's certainly not for the average person in my eyes. Anyway, so in conclusion, self-development is so difficult to monetize because the value that is created appears in the long term. So it's difficult to sort of tangibly say, okay, this is the value that I created through my self-development, and it's hard to sort of demand, like if you're a coach, for example, it's hard to demand money for that because it's so difficult to quantify. then it's difficult to pinpoint where the value stemmed from that changed your life. For example, if a coach tells you to meditate, then you start meditating, but then you also by yourself decide to take up all these new routines that change your life. But was it the meditation that was which was life-changing, or was it like your cold showers which you decided to do yourself? And then you're like, okay, but should I really be paying a coach thousands of dollars, or should I, like, because did he or she really bring me the value, or was it just myself? Was it my own work? Yes. And be careful of self-development products, self-help products like certain books and workshop seminars, as to whether they can really change your life or not. If they're just short, quick fixes that actually just keep you craving for more self-development content, maybe they're just trying to extract your money and not really help you in an altruistic way as you would really hope. Anyway, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. Thank you for listening.